Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. It's time for Friday Night Lights with my friends Willie Walls and the great Swame Odell Block, who looks ready to go, like he's pumped up already. So, guys, is this our last episode? Are we doing one next week, or is this it?
Gotta come back for championship week, don't we?
Yeah, we could do it 2 games.
All right, we'll do one more. All right, we'll do a quickie next week. All right.
But not Super Bowl week. You're on your own.
Exactly. Super Bowl, you figure it out.
Yeah, you figure it out.
All right, so here we have 4 games, and dare I say 4 pretty good games, because last week there were 4 very not so good games, to be quite honest with you. I mean, a lot of blowouts.
Yeah,
but,
and one guy got us, and he won't get us again. But what I'm hearing that guy might be who got us last week, that bastard. I heard that he might be doubtful. So if he's doubtful, I do have some interest.
There's so many guys who got us. Who are you talking
Exactly. Man, please.
Well, it's one that got minus 1.5 points. There's only one.
Oh, Darrell Williams?
Yeah, Darrell Williams.
Man,
what about let's
man,
give Swami some credit with Kendrick Bourne. Where'd you pull that one out of?
He unfortunately he didn't lock him in.
Well, I was looking at the game and I just didn't like they were trying to convince us that we needed to go with either Harris or Stevenson. And when I looked, I said, I think they're not going to be able to run the ball and they're going to be behind. So it was just a game theory for that one.
I like it. It worked well.
I got a couple this week.
All right. Let's get to the game, which I think this game, and I said this on my podcast on the first look, this game between Cincinnati and Tennessee may be decided literally in the first quarter. I'm going to tell you why, and then you guys break it down for me. If Tennessee gets out to a lead, they're going to run the ball all day with Derrick Henry. But if Tennessee's losing, it's probably because Cincinnati's throwing the ball because Tennessee's secondary kind of stinks. So do we like Henry? Do we like Burrow? What are we doing in this game, Willie?
I'm going to have some exposure to Mr. Henry, because I'm and not on FanDuel. I will not pay $9,000, $10,000 for Mr. Henry, but on DraftKings, I'm gonna have some exposure. I mean he's not going to be.
Oh, boy.
I cannot disrespect Mr. Henry. That's all I gotta say. I can't disrespect him, but he's a play. But I think if you want to get a leverage play, you play Tannehill with his 2 receivers. If you want to get a leverage play, if you want to do a leverage play on that, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Tennessee plays different at home. I think they're better. Their last from week 13, I think that their secondary has played better. So they are a play, but I'm not going to have too many plays in this game, to be honest with you.
Nobody on Cincinnati either. No Burrow, no Chase, no T.
Got a question. My hand's raised. I got a question. He said Tannehill had 2 receivers, Doc. I just wanted to know the other guy's name. I'd be interested in playing on this one.
I do. I'm gonna tell you the guy I do like is
What's his name?
The Frisker guy. I like him a lot.
Oh, okay. You said receiver.
Seriously, you're gonna play?
No. I'm gonna have Frisky in a couple of lineups, sir.
You're getting frisky with your lineups. I wouldn't touch that. I mentioned Logan Wilson. Have I not mentioned Logan Wilson to you every week? The dude is a shutdown linebacker. Don't waste your money.
I'm just saying. Listen. Mr. Frisker is not about but Julio. I'm telling you, I think Julio and AJ Brown with them. I'm telling you, that's a vomit stack. If you want to do a vomit stack, Julio.
You got a last name?
Yeah, his name is Julio Milk Jones.
Man, please, man.
I'm just saying, if I'm going to have a vomit stack, I'm just saying I don't mind having those 2 as a leverage play over Henry. But
I'll leverage play, but I'm going to give you the better leverage play. It's Dontrell Hilliard. Because if they're losing in this game, Derrick Henry's not on the field catching a football. If they're winning this game, they're giving him the football. But Donta Foreman can't catch either. So I'm just throwing it out there. Hilliard looked great the last couple of weeks. And if they're losing, he's on the field. I wouldn't touch him on that FanDuel, but on DraftKings, just listen to me, Willie. You're giving me that look.
I'm not saying anything, sir.
Giving me that look. I know that look when I see that look.
Go ahead.
It's the vomit stack look.
Yeah,
I understand. If I have, which I will play about 7 to 8 lineups. I might do a vomit stat. Listen, we're in the playoffs. You never know what. I mean, listen, if they're behind, like you said, then those guys are in play going against Cincinnati. Right. If they're behind.
Swami, what are you doing in this game? Are you playing this game? Are you fading this game?
Doc, none of these games are projected to be blowouts right now, right? I don't think Vegas is just way off, right? I think these games are probably going to play a little closer than what, we might be thinking. I don't know if there's a lot of blowouts. It may be close games, might be, might have some kickers involved here, something like that. But just from, DraftKings, FanDuel, DFS perspective, I think the way I would want to play this game is probably Barrow, double stack with Chase and Higgins, come back, A.J. Brown, something like that. And I think you got something where you get a home run. I don't think I would play it any of those vomit ways that my good friend just mentioned. I just can't see that game theory this week. I just don't.
I actually, Willie, I kind of like what Swami just said, because I think that's a team that can win, because you're looking at high, if Brown is in play, it's going to be like 4 for 108 and a touchdown. If Burrow is going to win, it's because he's throwing the ball to Chase and Higgins. So, I mean, I don't know if that's the smartest play, but it's the right play.
Well, see, I just know this. Tennessee playing at home is a different monster, and they're off their defensive line. You put pressure on Burrow, and I'm just telling you.
The question is if we're going to play this one, sir.
I don't listen. We all know this is not a core for us. This game, okay. So let's just say that we're just trying to give the people something if they're looking at this game. This is not a core for me, because I think that Tennessee's defense playing at home, they play different, and they got some monsters on that defensive line. So that's all I'm saying.
I don't know the prop bet, but I'm taking the prop bet on Jeffrey Simmons sacks. This dude could have 2 or 3 this game. He really does.
Yeah, because we know that the Bengals line was already suspect.
Right.
Now you playing at home against this Tennessee, So this is not a game where I'm going to have a lot of activity. And so let me
5 sacks in this game. Right. I agree with you.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a look at the next game on Saturday. You've got San Francisco against Green Bay. I think that there are a couple of guys I really like in this game, and it's not one is not named Deebo Samuel. I'm going to be honest with you here.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think the key to this game is a man who we have seen do nothing. His name is George Kittle. I think A.J. Dillon is in play here. I think Aaron Jones may be undervalued. I think Adams may be a must-own. I mean, I think if you're playing in a cash game or a single entry, he may be an 80 to 90% play. So start it out for me, Swami. What are you doing in this game?
All right, so first, this game has the widest spread to open, right? So almost a touchdown. So they don't like them very much. Looked at film. I probably looked at this game 3 or 4 times. I'm talking about the week 3 matchup. And I went back and I just wanted to kind of see how they kind of played each other, kind of the coaches. Green Bay really kind of controlled these games, and Adams was a huge part of it. Like I said in the pregame, he's got 70 fantasy points in his last 2 games, right? That sounds like they have not figured out Devontae Adams yet, which means as they try to say, hey, we don't want Devontae Adams to beat us, as they try to play, hey, we're going to try to slow this offense down, they're just going to open it up. And I just don't think they're going to be able to slow down the Packers very much. They may keep them out the end zone 1 or 2 drives. So I really think I'm leaning more towards Adams, Kittles, and then leaving the rest of it alone. But it's a lot to like about this game. I just don't trust Jimmy in this one. I think he could potentially turn the ball over. He did the last game a few times. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers in that offense could just kind of take, and grind this one out, get out of there with a win, a couple of long touchdown drives, and send San Francisco back out west.
Willie, I think Swami's onto something. I think this is one of those games where I could see the Packers having like a 9-minute drive, where Rodgers is just throwing those like 5- and 6-yard passes here. Do you like pieces in this game?
I like pieces of a dream better than this game. This game it could be. Because you got to remember, what is San Francisco going to try to do? They're going to try to run that ball. They're going to try to take the air out of this game. That's the only way to
Good
have
luck.
it. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that's the only way they can win if Eli Mitchell had one of those games. And I agree with you with Adams. Adams just got ridiculous numbers. We all know that. But sometimes they might not even need him like that. They just might spread the ball around to everybody because they got injuries in their secondary. If this one guy plays, man, they in some serious trouble. San Francisco, they in some serious trouble. So, and Jimmy G is ass G. He's terrible. So
but they got very lucky last week. I mean, they deserved to win that game, but at the end, I mean, come on.
Well, not me, because Jimmy G, first of all, if he don't throw that interception, what he should not have thrown, that was a terrible play. So I just think that this game is like one of those, like grinding games. And that's why I don't think San Francisco's got enough to keep this game where we need it to be.
Right.
So with that, like I said, so it looks, the more that we talk about this, that's why I'm glad we're talking about it. This looks more like a 2-game slate to me, So,
so let's get to it. We got the best 2 games on Sunday by far. So let's just say this. I'm going to get to this in a second. I think the Rams and Buccaneers are the sneakier game. Everybody's going Buffalo and Kansas City. I get it. It's smart. It makes sense. But if you're looking for the leverage play, I think maybe stacking the Rams in Tampa makes a little bit more sense to me. I don't know whether you guys agree with that. Swame, talk to me about this game in Tampa. You got Tom Brady. Lenny Fournette is going to be back. You've got Vaughn maybe. You've got Gronk. You've got Evans. You've got Beckham, who looked really good last week. I may be fading a little Cooper Kupp there. I'm just throwing that out to you. There, you got Higbee. You got Van Jefferson. You got a lot of options here. What are you doing in this game?
All right, Doc. Went back and forth a couple times this week. I never bet against the GOAT, but it's stacked against him this week. He just doesn't have all his pieces. They didn't look great last week. They got, he was under a lot of pressure. He went down, and this was, a game that they were relatively in control the whole game. And he still, was under a lot of duress. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the way it felt. Even going back and look at the game, it seemed like Stafford might have them figured out as far as that secondary. He carved them up. I'm talking warm knife through warm butter. I mean, it was absolutely surgical. And so I really like the Rams side of it. I just don't think we have enough. Even though Brady's he's gonna do something. He's gonna piece this thing together. He's got some 550 cord and duct tape. He's gonna figure out how to get a couple of drives. I just don't know if they get behind. I just don't know if Evans is going to be able to do as much as he's going to need to this week with those other receivers and those other guys out there. I believe the GOAT going to do something at home. They like less than a field goal favorite. All things point to the Rams with the upset. And so if it is the Rams, Swame, just to fix this, who are you picking? Who are you taking this time? Again, this is one of those ones. If I had to pick, I like Stafford. I like Kupp for sure. He's probably a lock for me. And you could talk me into coming back with Evans, maybe Bernard. Okay. Willie, let's talk about this game. Do you want a piece of this game? Or do you think it is leverage? Or do you like, Doc, just go right to Buffalo, Kansas City?
No. I mean, you're going to have to get somebody. See, this is the thing. One thing I know Tampa Bay won't be doing is they better not blitz Stafford. I do know that. He's the best against the blitz. He completes 74% of his passes. Against Arizona, 7-9, 148, and 1 touchdown. In the first game, 9 for 11, 91 yards and a touchdown. But the interesting piece about this is, yes, I do like Cooper Kupp too. But instead of Odell Beckham, it might be a Van Jefferson game. The reason being is that Dean guy's back. And Dean is one of the top 5 corners in the NFL. And I think he will be on Beckham. He will be checking Beckham. So if that's the case, then I want to go back with, and I know Van Jefferson has been ass, but I'm not saying if you double stack, that will be a stack that people are not looking at. But I'm just saying. They had trouble there as well. Remember, D-Jack lit them up.
they had a lot of trouble trying to cover that deep ball.
Well, you got to remember, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Dean got hurt in the first 12 plays of the game. So he got injured. So that it makes a difference when you lose one of your top corners. He's back now. So what I'm saying
is, the deep ball. You were saying Van Jefferson.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
where he operates.
Absolutely. And that's why I think that would, everybody would be just Beckham. But this would be the type of game that a Van Jefferson could be a man of interest. And I'm gonna tell you something. This Akers guy could play.
How about the pass that he dropped last week? He was wide open. He was open by like 3 yards.
And like Swame said, listen, I'm gonna have a couple of lineups with this bastard name. Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you, this Akers guy, I'm just looking at the eye test. So this guy played. Yeah. I'm like, oh no.
The crazy thing is in seasonal, he was probably going to go at the end of the first round.
Right.
And then he got hurt. But could you imagine if you had that guy on that offense?
This guy is a player. And I think, listen, those other and see what the Rams give up is they give stuff up to the number 2 receivers. But man, the Buccaneers number 2 receivers are trash. You can't, sometimes you just can't.
3.
Can I ask you a question, though? And I want to really think about this. Cooper Kupp had an amazing season. No question about it. But Cam Akers wasn't there. If Cam Akers is there, is Cooper Kupp having the historic year that he has? Look at what they did last week. Did Cooper Kupp and Cam Akers have big weeks?
One thing that McVay will do is McVay will try to run that ball. He likes the run principle. And I'm gonna tell you, I think, listen, remember, Philadelphia ran the ball a little bit on them, but remember, they were so far behind that they couldn't stick to it, but they weren't bad when they were doing it. And I'm just saying.
So can you run against Tampa?
I think the Rams may be able to do a little bit of running to have some balance. But just looking at it, 2019, 40-55, 2020, 27-24, week 3 this year, 34-24. The Rams won 2 of those games, lost 1, and Cooper Kupp still had an average of 29 points, 28, 29, and 30 in all 3 games. I just don't know how he's not going to be somebody who they're looking – because this is Tampa Bay, this is Tom Brady.
They're going to move Kupp around like they move Adams around.
But you don't want to play with Tom Brady. You don't want to play with Tampa. If you want to come out and you want to call a game as if you almost down 7. You want to get these guys out of it. You don't want them to start momentum. You don't want to be behind the sticks.
I just think that defensive line is good. Now, see, this is the dangerous thing. Remember, they got me and you at safety.
Taylor Rapp is out. I don't know if you guys saw that. Taylor Rapp is out, and Andrew Whitworth is out. The really good lineman. So those are 2 pretty big injuries for the Rams here. I'm just throwing that out there.
But those guys were not on the same page last week. They missed short. They missed the intermediate routes. They were slowing down on routes. Brady expected them to keep going. They were settling down on the zone when Brady thought they were going to keep going. They were slowing up on deep balls when Brady thought they were going to keep going. I just don't know how they fixed that in a week.
Well, but I'm going to say this. Because the quarterback for Philadelphia could not take advantage of these safeties.
Yes.
You can't. I mean,
guys wide open.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, but I'm gonna say this to the Rams. If they don't get to Tom Brady, and I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna have I think Fournette is there because he's one of the best run blocking. I mean,
great pass blocker.
Yeah, he's a great pass blocker. So I think, and that's why I'm going. I can't play the other running backs because I don't want to play Fournette. I don't. That just X's all the stuff because I think he's gonna be used in pass blocking. And they got to, because with those 3 monsters that the Rams got over there.
Gio can block a little bit too. You will. Let me guarantee something. You will not see Ronald Jones hit that field.
No.
He will get Tom Brady killed. He will literally get Tom Brady killed.
Absolutely agreed. And Tom Brady, listen, one thing I do know, and you saw in the games when he gets pressure, sir, he's a whole different guy. He don't like to feel that heat. And you saw that in that New Orleans game when New Orleans put a little pounding on his behind. And I'm just saying, all I'm saying is, if you run it back, you could run it back with Evans. I don't trust the guys, or you could run it back with Gronk. Gronk. That's what you could run it back with. But I'm gonna tell you this. This game scares me for Brady a little bit because I agree with Swame. Man, they going to bring, they going to bring some pressure. Who's going to check that monster? Who's going to check? Who's going to block him?
All right, let's get to the last game, guys, the big one. So I can pretty much tell you how I think these games are going. But this last one, I don't know if I can. Buffalo and Kansas City in Kansas City. Buffalo beat the crap out of them the last time these two teams played. Buffalo is, in my opinion, the best coach team around. They just make adjustments. And sometimes you wonder about Andy Reid, right? He does something great in the first half, and then the second half, you're like, what's going on? Buffalo just seems is very well coached, make good plays, lot of weapons. You've got Singletary, who didn't really play the first time these two teams played. Gabriel Davis, who was more involved than the first time these two teams played. Dawson Knox is a better player. But on the other side, you got this guy, Byron Pringle, who's looked really good. Yeah. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is now back, and I think you're not going to see L. Williams at all. Swame, what are you doing in this game?
Let me tell you. I get Kansas City's at home, but them being a 2-point favorite, I think at best this would be a pick'em game. It's just no way I could favor them, especially after I watched the first game a couple of times. They had no answer for Allen. Zero. Allen will likely do whatever he wanted to do again. They have no answer for him. Knox, you all know he had a big game. Walls, we looked at, I know it was just a couple of big plays that he had in that game, but he was wide open. They were definitely vulnerable deep. Sanders seemed like he had 3 targets, was able to catch 2 of them in the end zone. Diggs didn't have a huge game, but again, he was getting a lot of the attention on the back end, and he was, the reason it was opened up for other guys. Even though Singletary didn't play much, he did play some in the game, looked good on his snaps, and Moss looked really good in this game. And guess what? Who's going to get those touches? Out the backfield and in the backfield. Singletary is the easiest play this week. I totally agree with Wall. This is the no-brainer. Go ahead and hit that button.
Moss had about 6 or 7 catches. That's all Singletary in this game.
All of it. All the catches, the running plays that he had. He had a couple called back on some really cheap holding calls, but, they will call back. And then it was just anything Allen wants to do, I think he's going to be able to do it. In my mind, they're favored in this game. And Kansas City, even though this game, I want to say at the half, they put up 37 points at the half in this one, right? And then coming out of the half, Mahomes then threw the pick 6. They had another long drive. He got picked off by a lineman. They had another long drive out at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth.
But the Chiefs are a better team now, Swami. Their defense is better.
Give me 1 second.
They're better.
Doc, I don't know if they're going to be able to call the game any better than what they called it. I think they're going to clean it up. They might not have the turnovers, and the game might have a little bit more back and forth. But the big plays weren't there. I don't think they're going to be there this week. Kelsey had 10 targets. He was, involved. Hartman had 12 targets. Believe it or not, he was a man of interest. Pringle had a touchdown, but he didn't get as many targets in this game. And then, Edwards-Helaire, he was able to convert a couple of first downs, but they just didn't have enough to be able to see it. Like the Bills had big plays, explosive plays, long drives. They didn't have the turnovers, and they really controlled the game. It just, for me, this was easy on film. You have to go with Buffalo. Coming back, Kelsey or Hartman on a Buffalo side, you could put it together any way you want. Knox, Sanders, Singletary, Allen. You could full stack. I think they're going to put up the most points this week.
Willie, what's the plan in this game? How are we approaching it?
First of all, I think you're disrespecting Kansas City a little bit. They are a little different team than they were, and it was the turnovers. That's why I think it's going to go both ways. Listen, first of all, let's talk about Allen. Okay, Allen is just a monster. I mean, his last 6 games, he's rushed for 407 yards. That's 67 yards per game. That's another touchdown. You know what I mean? You think about it. Then if he rushed for another touchdown, that's another thing. So this guy got a monster arm. Yes, I agree. He's a play. Love Singletary, lock button. If he gets hurt, then I'm done. But he's a lock button. I'm going to do the process.
Let me knock on wood. Cut that out.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
After this season, don't mention stuff like that again.
Yeah, he's a lock button. But see, this is the thing that's different that you understand about Buffalo's defense. They do not have Javarius White is gone, and he was in that game. so he could take away part of that thing there. And I think that DraftKings did a disservice for the prices that they have on these guys. You got Kelsey at $6,500. Disrespectful. He's never been that price this year.
Tyreek Hill, 66.
Tyreek Hill, 6,600. Lock on DraftKings. Lock him up. He's a lock on DraftKings. I'm not going to overthink this thing. You can stack this thing a different way.
But are they begging you to take that? Are they saying, Willie Walls, sucker, right there, you take that?
But guess what?
Here,
I'm a sucker because Tyreek Hill will break. He had one deep one. I said, that's the Tyreek Hill. When I saw him doing the cheerleader thing, he was doing a cheerleader thing. He did a backflip. I said, oh, he's healthy now. His heel is healed. You understand what I'm saying? So I think now, and this is another thing. Pringle. Love Pringle this game. And I'm going to tell you another little sneaky rascal is McKenzie. McKenzie is the one that will give Kansas City trouble in this game. And Davis, the secondary receivers, they will give him trouble in this game. So this thing.
What about Beasley, Willie?
Hell no, because Beasley.
Man, come on, stop it, Doc.
Beasley stuff and his snap.
I'm a sucker for Beasley. I'm a sucker.
You're a sucker for, but do not
Doc,
play Beasley.
Don't do that.
He has been supplanted. Davis, McKenzie.
Gabriel Davis and McKenzie.
And Davis.
I love Gabriel Davis. Davis.
Yes, they've taken over for him. So please do not play Beasley. Don't do it. He's not on the field enough. Don't do it.
Can I mention something about Hill? Even though the last game he had 13 targets, he brought in 7 of them for 63 yards, so we know they're going short. But going back to the conference game last year, he had 11 targets, 9 receptions, 172 yards, right? And that's without getting the end zone. So it is something to be said about Mr. Hill. Don't take my comments as disrespect. Just know that I think highly of Allen and Buffalo. Not that I'm taking anything away from Kansas City. I just think they won't be able to stop Buffalo.
No. I mean, so this game, like I said, I mean, listen, you could run this back many ways. You could run 5, 4. You could game stack this. This game will be, if you're ahead, and this game hasn't started, if you don't got no PMRs left, night. Night.
Lighting money on fire.
Yeah, night. If you don't got PMR, because I'm gonna tell you, they listen, Josh. I don't see Josh Allen and another guy that's underpriced is Diggs. 6,600 for Diggs.
I'm not paying for Diggs. I like too much value elsewhere that I'm going to pay up. I'd rather pay 66 for Hill.
I got it, but why you could play both though? What I'm saying is, see, a lot of people might think what you're thinking because he has been stinky. You follow what I'm saying? But it might be because he's only had 2 games over 100 yards, right? But this is money time. It's not like Kansas City got locked down guys. So I'm just telling you, those prices are disrespectful on Kelsey, Hill, and Diggs.
Last 4 games versus Kansas City. 2 receptions, 69, 6 receptions, 77, 6 receptions, 46, and 4 receptions for 4 yards.
That's not special.
It's not special, but guys, that's why we call it GPP plays. And what I'm trying to tell you is you keep smidging your nose up.
I'm sorry, that was 4 targets. He had 1.
I understand. All I'm saying is this. If you ask me who I like better, of course, it's Mr. Tyreek Hill. But I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, but everybody, but see what this is why we got to be different. Everybody might be thinking that. You follow what I'm saying? What you're saying is,
you're thinking that everybody's thinking that.
Yeah, maybe you're thinking everybody.
No. I'm just telling you. That's a disrespectful price.
I can't see the other side of his neck, Doc. I gotta get a flash. Let me see if I can see me talking about the other side of his neck.
What I'm saying is this. We all know that both quarterbacks are in play this game. Both. And to me, they are the best players on the slate, both of them.
All right, so Willie, let's ask this. Is this your game stack right here? Buffalo, Kansas City, all in?
Yes.
Swame, you all in?
I don't think so. I think for leverage, I even want to look at Stafford or look at Barrow, those 2 stacks. I just feel like this one feels like because they can go anywhere, they literally can go all over the field. It's just a little bit more variance here. I like it. I think this game will have the most points, but it's just harder to nail down.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
What if we run naked Josh Allen?
Oh yeah, you could. You could convince me of that.
You know what?
Because Singletary a lot, so he's not really.
You got to play both.
You go Allen Singletary, and then maybe you come back with somebody, and then you go stack another game.
Or think about this: you could play Stafford, and you play one of his guys, and you come back and you could stack this game. There's different ways you could do it. You don't have to have the quarterback, so you could use Stafford's price, right. And if he lights them up for 30 or 29 points. Then you got that. Now you can pay for these other guys in the league. So it's different ways to carve this up. But I'm just saying, this game right here, I will have more plays in this game than I will in the other game.
All right, balls to the walls call, Willie Walls. Who do you got for me?
The guy that I got for you is I think I got a interesting. No, I'm not.
I heard he's good.
No. I think McKenzie for Buffalo. Okay. I think McKenzie for Buffalo. It is going to give them trouble. And I think this is a sneaky guy that if he goes for 100 yards, with 5 catches, people say, "What the hell happened?" And that will allow you, because everybody's looking at Cobb for that value play. I think the value play by me be McKenzie. So that's my balls to the walls call, sir.
Swame says.
I was thinking of value play at first when you first asked Willie, and I was thinking about Hartman. Then I kind of came off of him, and I went back and forth between one of my favorite guys, Mike Evans, and Higgins. And something is telling me I'm going to go with Mr. Higgins this week. I think that people aren't really looking at him. I think they're looking at that game that Chase had, and I think that Chase may get a little bit more extra attention this week. And Mr. Higgins, it might be time for him to show up.
So would you go Burrow, Higgins, Boyd?
I could play that, yeah. Boyd, he had a nice game against them, even though that was 2020. So Boyd, he's still working over the middle, almost like, right behind the tight ends, or sometimes he's settling down like right over the middle in front of the linebackers. So he'll probably get about 7-8 targets.
I like it, guys.
All right. Go ahead, Doc. One other thing. Don't forget about Pringle in this game. I mean, I love Pringle and George Kittle. Kittles.
I said Kittles.
Kittles.
Look, I think this is a game. This is a weekend of correlation. You go Adams, Kittle, maybe you go Pringle, McKenzie. You go, you just get a couple of guys along, maybe Higgins, Brown, and I think you just correlate plays right and left.
Yeah, I think because he's been quiet. He's been super quiet.
If you're going Bucks, it's Mike Evans. If you're going Bucks, if you pick a Buck, it's Mike Evans. I know Walls, he don't have the best matchup, but I don't.
No. He's getting it.
I'm with you on Evans.
Yeah, and he lit him up a couple of times. So don't be
worried about Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, everybody worry about, but I see Jalen be getting lit up sometimes too. So
he playing well though. He playing well.
Evans is too strong for Ramsey. Evans is big, right? He's a big dude.
He's big. Well, Ramsey's a beast. I'm gonna be interested in watching that one.
And hopefully Brady can stay upright, because if he don't stay upright, it's gonna be a frustrating game for Mr. Brady.
Night.
All right, guys. We wish you luck. We'll be back next week for the championship games. For Willie and Swame, it's Dr. Roto saying be well. Take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.